Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to be here with you today and share the next episode of Mandy podcast. So, let's get started. In Eastern society, there is usually little to no sex education for teenagers, and this lack of education can lead to problems. Countries like India or those in Middle East are currently undergoing a period of transition. Consequently, they may encounter difficulties with this issue and perceive it as a crisis. This is because societal structures are predominantly male-dominated, while individual values are changing and society has not yet fully embraced these changes. So, a woman is vulnerable in these societies, and this vulnerability is both inevitable and necessary for transformation. Societies are undergoing change, and this observation is not solely my personal opinion. Neither you nor I can halt this change, but we can certainly engage in discussions that shed light on that issue. In traditional societies, the importance placed on female virginity is very high. In conservative families, girls are often required to undergo virginity tests before marrying their partners. It's difficult to imagine the emotional impact of devaluing human love to the extent that is equated with a small cellular structure. Moreover, these societies often exhibit double standards, with men sometimes casually describing their past physical relationships with pride, and considering a woman's virginity as the foundation of trust in material life. According to studies, countries such as India, Bangladesh, Iran, Egypt, Jordan, Libya, Morocco, South Africa, and other Arab countries are among the leading practitioners of hymen testing, which is widely regarded as a violation of human rights. Furthermore, cultural narratives often suggest that a girl who engages in premarital sex has been exploited or abused. However, even if the girl comes from a respectable and enlightened family, these narratives inflict psychological harm. Ultimately, excessive repression often leads to a breaking point. Young people become so engrossed in fighting against societal restrictions that it robs them of the power to make conscious and wise choices. And it causes the worst phenomena occur in traditional societies and countries. Yet due to the lack of open media discussion, the general public assumes that everything is proceeding as usual. Consequently, they boast about the rich culture. However, the consequence of these breaking points become evident in counseling centers, revealing the occurrence of non-normative events within society. Most likely, while I was providing explanation about this topic, many of you may have associated it with Western culture, and that is indeed the truth. When we mention individual freedoms, Western culture is often the first thing that comes to mind. The fact is that Eastern religions and Eastern rulers have historically placed less emphasis on individuals' freedoms. However, adopting Western practices carries a negative burden for us. Why is that? When Western clothing stores sell Eastern fashions, or when Eastern religions are promoted and individuals to convert to Islam, Buddhism, and Hinduism, everyone takes pride in it. No European or American would claim that these people are being Orientalized. However, as soon as discussions about human rights and individuals' freedoms arise, Eastern governments claim that they have been attacked by the Western culture. and they're using this as an excuse for repression. We must be aware of these deceptions and engage in open dialogue to promote understanding and progress. According to proponents of premarital sex, having multiple partners is strictly prohibited. If you engage in sex without any love or genuine interest in multiple partners, you will eventually suffer psychological damage and become disgusted. Sex becomes akin to an unappetizing meal that you must consume 3 times a day. The person's mind becomes conditioned and can only be stimulated by changing sexual partners. Therefore, sex in this person's life becomes completely detached from love. If this person eventually gets married, they will completely separate sex from their married life. How long do we want changing sexual partners? Eventually, we reach a point where we feel empty and lonely and yearn for marriage. Statistics suggest that the majority of Americans feel the need to get married after the age of 30. Individuals who have had numerous partners may encounter difficulties as their sexual desires, and arousal doesn't occur with just one person. Additionally, engaging in sexual relationships with multiple partners may lead to sexual transmitted disease. 50% of HIV infections occur in people between the ages of 15 and 24 who are typically not married yet. Condoms can prevent up to 85% of AIDS transmission, leaving a 15% risk, which is a considerable number. Therefore, having multiple partners carries significant disadvantages, and according to proponents of premarital sex, it's forbidden. Sex before marriage is recommended for people whose goals are crystal clear. They say, based on my career, goals, and life path, I want to postpone marriage until after the age of 30 or 40. However, I'm currently 25 years old, at an age when my sexual desires are at their peak. What should I do now? Well, if you want to form an emotional relationship based on love and genuine interest and have sex in that relationships, it's crucial to recognize that person beyond the fluctuation of hormones. This recognition will be the foundation of the emotions that will flow between you. Unfortunately, a significant number of people, typically men, treat girls in such a manner. They claim that their sexual need is just like any other human need, and it should be fulfilled and allowed without considering love, knowing the person, or forming genuine connections. They take away the beauty of truly getting to know and falling in love before engaging in sexual relations with someone, and replacing it with a worthless experience that lacks any personal preference and enjoyment. And my last piece of advice is that if you choose not to get married but engage in sex, you must accept full responsibility for any consequences, including unwanted pregnancies and societal anxieties. If you decide to do so, make a firm decision and follow through. Conversely, if you choose not to engage in sex, make a firm decision and stick to it. Being indecisive and wavering between the two options is the worst state of being. Once you make a decision, don't harbor the foolish feeling of being victimized. I say this for your mental well-being, especially if you're a girl. Do not make your time bitter, and do not portray yourself as a victim. You made a choice and experienced the moment that many people long for, but are unable to attain. And now we have reached the end of this episode. I would like to thank you for your time and attention. Please subscribe to this channel to watch more content. If you found this video useful, please like it And please write your comments about this video and the topics you would like to hear about. Thank you for your support.